What's up, guys? We're here. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since we were able to do a Diablo 4 video. I just got finished with all of the moves, so I'm finally all set up in my new place, and we're able to get back to pumping out a crap ton of content. So, first video back on Diablo 4 after the move is the Diablo 4 Season 8 PTR trailer. Or not trailer, but campfire chat that they went over. So we're going to briefly go over some few things. I'm not going to talk about everything, but I do want to talk about a lot of things. There's some good, there's some bad, and then there's some very, very bad. For Diablo players who actually have a grip on reality and are being very, logical and being very, having criticisms and being able to actually look at the game and go, wow, you know, this is good or this is really bad, instead of just always buying into the Blizzard hype and, you know, what they're feeding us, then this is going to be the video for you. So let's talk about some of the good things that are coming to Season 8 and the Season of Bosses. We'll talk about the season names in just a little bit. But so first things first, there's some really good stuff here. They talked about a lot of Season 7 stuff and how the leveling was taking way too long or was too fast. In this season, it was way too fast. Last season, it took 15 to 17 hours on average to get to 60, which they felt was really great. And then this season was much faster than that. It was on average 9 hours. So they're basically making it a lot harder for players. It's just going to be a lot harder to level now, which is fine. The game is already super easy. So for it to take 9 hours for your average Andy casual who can play, 20 minutes a day, that's, it's going to take them a little bit longer, but I think the blasters will be unaffected by this change at all. It'll probably be just like Season 6 leveling. The next big thing is they're changing the items, right? So during the leveling process, they really want the leveling process to be very as you're going through the campaign and leveling your character for the very first time, they want the legendary drops to feel very meaningful. They want magic and rare items to have affixes, which make it so we're hey, once I find a legendary, which I get every 3 or 4 minutes within an hour of playing, now because I have legendaries, I don't even look at blues or yellows, which is true. Nobody looks at blues or yellows because they're absolutely useless, right? So now they're saying through the campaign, there's going to be, or during your leveling process until you hit 60, legendaries are going to be very scarce. It's going to be very hard to find legendaries. And then magic items and rare items will have up to 2 and 3 affixes. This does not mean that they will automatically have these. So you will still find rare items with only 2 affixes and blues that only have 1. But they wanted to make sure that way the blue and yellow items are very meaningful and they impact your character as you're leveling, which means you're just picking up and looking at more and more items. So that's a big item change. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I get from a leveling perspective that this is very cool for the game, and it's a very good thing to have the leveling experience be very meaningful, as opposed to hey, I've played for 2 hours, I have 4 or 5 legendaries, and now I'm just trying to get to endgame, right? So I get it. It makes sense. I'm not too upset by that. The state of the game and Torment progression is a big thing that they changed. So essentially, just like with the leveling experience, with how fast it is to level, the pit was too easy. I put out a tweet about this, and I thought it was hilarious because 2 seasons ago, the pit was too easy. Last season, the pit is too hard. And now, or no, 2 seasons ago, the pit was too hard. Nobody could complete it. The only reason that you could complete it because the Spiritborn was actually bugged. And a lot of abilities were bugged. Last season, in Season 7, it was too easy, and now they're making it too hard. So they're saying that basically nobody should be able to complete pit tier 150. You're basically only going to get to pit 100. So now with the Torment progression, now the levels are going to be higher. It's going to be a lot harder to actually do the pit tiers, and it's going to be much more difficult with the damage and monster health. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not a big pit pusher and doing max pits. It's cool to have a build just to complete it for the achievement, but otherwise speed farming pits is more my playstyle. But I think it's funny that it's too easy, or no, it was too hard. Now we made it too easy, and now we're going to make it too hard again. It's almost like the balancing They just don't have a grip on it. They just don't know what they want to do with it. The pit scaling. So now one big thing here that I have a huge problem with, they introducing a brand new pinnacle boss, which is Belial. It's a regurgitated boss from Diablo 3, Belial. And although the Belial actually looks cool and the system that they're trying to bring him in with looks incredible, the issue is, to me, and maybe it's different for you guys, but in Season 6 with the Spiritborn, we did not get Mephisto as a pinnacle boss, and everybody was completely let down by this because the entire season was based on Mephisto. So we didn't get him, and we still don't have Diablo, but yet we're going to get Belial. So to me, it doesn't make sense at all. I can't even explain it. So that doesn't make sense to me at all. But Belial is going to be in the new Pinnacle content, and this is going to be the new Pinnacle boss ladder. So they changed how everything works. They significantly nerfed party play when it comes to bosses. So now instead of having all these different items you need for bosses, you're going to be able to just find lair keys, and bosses will be free to summon. So you can fight them right away to kind of test your character. They will not drop any loot. The horde, the chest that appears from defeating the boss, you can only open if you have a lair key. So you can actually go in and like test your build against all the bosses and, you know, just see where you're at. But unless you have a lair key, you will not be able to get any of the loot, right? So Stygian stones are converted, which is cool. And then the bloat reduction for all of this. So you can go down and do any of these at any time, which the boss system seems cool now. Like it's not that bad in reality, but I do think it's funny. I mean, I get it. The casual Andes are the biggest group for Diablo 4, and you know, the devs are catering to them. So for people who like party up and do like rotations to where like you got 4 party members, each person has 10 boss mats to be able to summon Duriel 10 times. You know, all 4 of those players get 40 runs at Duriel, as opposed to one single casual Andy can only do it 10 times. You know, so I get it. They're nerfing boss play, but if everybody has lair keys, then it's going to be the same thing. So I'm assuming that lair keys are not going to be that hard to find, so maybe it won't be that bad. But I do like the new boss. I mean, like now you can directly teleport to the boss dens, which is really cool. The boss dungeons, which is super cool. I think that's very unique. And you can actually just run through here and do this. There's a bunch of cool traps here now. But Belial. So there's a Harbinger of Hatred. There's 3 different versions of Belial that you can fight, which I think is super cool. They didn't really reveal too many of the mechanics, but I do think it's very, very cool that we got, you know, a new Pinnacle boss, something new to fight. You know, I'm just very disappointed that we didn't get Mephisto in Season 6, and we still don't have Diablo in the game. So that's the only thing that I'm super bummed about. Now, there is one cool thing. When you do fight Belial, you will be able to choose, like, you know, out of this, you'll be able to modify your reward and pick any of the other bosses. So when you defeat the Belial, you can be like, oh, I need to get Grigor stuff, so I'm going to open up a Grigor chest. So that's kind of cool. Very unique. Now, the seasonal theme is the Season of Boss Powers. Now, this is like, I'm going back and forth with the good and bad, but this is probably one of the worst things, okay? I am sick and tired of the regurgitated seasonal themes, very huge lack of creativity, and it's just very lazy. Very, very lazy. Very, very lazy. Now, I made a similar video about this, so like kind of going over Season 7 with the witch powers, and a lot of people were on the side of, well, war. You know, Season 2 with the vampire powers was the best season, and everybody resonated with that and thought that that was the best season, which I still agree that it was. But now all they're doing is copy paste and putting a new filler on it, just like with the witch powers. They literally copy paste, new thing, copy paste, new thing. Like Season 9 is probably going to be Season of the frog powers, and Season 10 will be Season of the, you know, monkey powers. And then like, it's just going to be the same regurgitated thing over and over and over and over and over again. And the fact that there's a lot of you that are just like hey, well, they're at least giving us powers, which is what we want. Like, no, this isn't any new content at all. It's the same thing over and over again. And for those who really can't see it, like, look at the boss powers, look at the vampiric powers, or the witch powers, and look at the vampiric powers. It's literally the same every season. The same thing over and over and over again. Now, I get that they're like on the train of, hey, you know, this is what the players want. We want to introduce powers and stuff, but they got to do something different. Like, they have to do something different besides just taking this thing, this system, and just putting a new skin on it and calling it something new. Like, it's very, very lazy. Very lazy. Like, very lazy. So I'm very upset about that. Now, on the flip side to that coin, the boss powers do look really cool. I will say there's 24 boss powers. You get 1 main power and 3 modifiers that modify this power. Now, I will say that a lot of these powers do a crap ton of damage, like a crap ton of damage. So for them not wanting us to be able to one-shot bosses or be doing billions, trillions, or quadrillions of damage, that's not going to change when they have powers that are doing 810% damage. Like, it's just not. It's just not going to happen. So, but a little showcase here with Bloodshed. He's showing off one of the cool powers, which is the Goku's Kamehameha power, which is pretty sick. You can see this thing here. It's the Kamehameha power, which is pretty BA. I will say, like, this stuff looks really cool. Some of the powers look pretty awesome. Like, there's really cool stuff with the shadows. Like, there's a lot of really cool boss powers and combinations here to really do things. So I think that'll be cool. I mean, we're kind of using the boss's powers, turning it against the mobs and everything. So I think there's going to be a lot of cool combinations with that. But all in all, there's a lot of nerfs in here. A lot of nerfs. There's a crap ton of nerfs. There's some buffs. There's some new uniques, which I don't think anybody is really excited about. But there's a lot of items in here. But yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming to this season. We got the PTR coming in just a few days. So I'm excited about that. But one other big L that they continue to do, I do not know why. So just like a few seasons ago with the PTR, you cannot get a boost for the first 2 days. So the first 2 days, they want you to go through and play like normal. So that way you can test as a player the leveling experience with the new changes to leveling. I don't know what 2 days of leveling is going to do. I think it's pretty much the blasters that'll be testing that. Casual Andes will not be testing that because they won't even get to level 20 in 2 days. So it's pretty, again, pretty lazy, pretty lackluster. Like, the leveling changes really aren't going to matter that much unless they increase the difficulty of leveling by like 500x. Like, it's really not going to be a big deal. So they just need to give us everything and allow us to go in and just test everything in the end game, because there isn't any really new content. Like, the boss powers is something, but there's no end game content, which is a big problem continuing for this game. The new Andariel boss, there's no end game content. It's, you get boss powers and now you can fight Belial, and that's it. That's all they added to the game. That's it. So but anyway, guys, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Appreciate you guys watching for so long. I'm so happy to be moved into my new place and be back and be able to create a bunch of content. So we will be pumping content out like crazy. So again, I apologize for my absence. But yeah, we are back. I'm so excited to create so much more content for Diablo 4, Path of Exile, and our new Pokemon content that we've been ripping packs and stuff. Shout out Adam Fletcher. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun, man. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Like the video, guys. Comment down below. That really helps me out with the algorithm. I got to make up some time here for the time being away. I didn't make enough videos to put in while I was moving. So definitely like and comment the video. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. And as always, stay gaming, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.